Holistic health. It's one of the main things that we talk about here at My Choice. But what is it? Why is it important? And what does it have to do with our sexual and relational choices? Let's talk about that. So how's it going, everybody? My name is BJ, and I'm one of the educators here at My Choice Education. And today we get to talk about holistic health. And this is kind of the main thread throughout a number of videos that we're going to be creating in regards to our sexual choices, our relational choices, and our relational and sexual health. But what does holistic health have to do with any of that? First of all, what is holistic health? And so we have this nice little word that we use to remember the 5 key areas of what we call the whole self. Okay, and these 5 key areas work together to kind of create the whole. They're interconnected. They're not separate. The word that we use to remember this is PIES. If you've encountered My Choice in any capacity, you've probably heard us talking about the PIES of holistic health. PIESS with 2 S's. Those stand for physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and spiritual. PIESS. Physical, intellectual, emotional, social, and spiritual. These 5 areas work together to create the whole self. And why that's so important that we talk about that is because they're interconnected. You cannot have one get impacted by something without impacting the whole. Think about a set of gears. Think about a machine, right? A machine is made up of gears that interlock and work together to make the machine do what it's supposed to do. But what happens when one of those gears gets damaged? It affects the whole machine. Even though it's just one small piece, the machine is not able to function properly. It may break completely just because one gear went out of alignment. And it's the same way whenever it comes to our holistic health, to our health. When one of these 5 areas is impacted by something, it's going to have a direct effect on the other 4 areas as well. If something happens to us physically, there's going to have intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual consequences. And throughout this video series, we're going to highlight different areas of how the choices we make, how the things that are going on in our life have an impact on these 5 areas and how they kind of just impact our life. Along that line of thinking, one of the major kind of topics that we talk about underneath of PIES is this idea of consequence. And it's a conversation that we don't like to have. I mean, no one likes to talk about consequence, especially because consequence has such a negative connotation to it. Whenever you hear the word consequence, you probably immediately think of you're getting in trouble. Something's gone wrong. And because you did something wrong, there are consequences to that action. But consequence in and of itself, it doesn't necessarily just mean bad. Consequence is the result of an action. Good, bad, or indifferent. You can have good consequences. If you study hard for a test, the consequence is that you're likely going to do better on that test. If you sleep well, you're going to feel rested. If you eat well, you're going to be healthy. But there also could be bad consequences. If you stay up all night knowing you've got a test in the morning, but you stay up and play video games, the consequences is you're probably not going to do so hot on that test, right? There's good, bad, and there's neutral consequence. Sometimes the things they really aren't good or bad. But the point is that there are consequences to everything that we do. Every choice that you make, every choice that you don't make, there's going to be consequences. And one of the main goals that we have here at My Choice Education and in My Choice Medical Clinic is we want you to consider the consequences, to stop and think before you act, to consider what's going to happen. Right? Which is why we so believe in education. We want to educate on fact and reality using statistic and research to back our teachings, our education, so that when you go to make these choices in your life, whether it be sexual choices, relational choices, or other choices in regards to your health, that you are able to stop, think about the consequences of your actions, and make healthy choices because of your education.